Hello YouTube and welcome back to another Dare to Game video. Today we're playing Elden Ring and we're going to be doing another weapon guide, and today's is the top 7 best intelligence scaling weapons. So let's say you're a mage or some sort of a whatever magical type player and you have a really high intelligence skill and you want to know what weapons go well with that because they scale with intelligence. Well, this guide is for you because I'm going to show you the top 7 best ones and where or how to get them, at least when applicable. So we're going to start off right now with number 7, the Onyx Lord's Greatsword, which you can see I'm holding right here. It's a big old curved sword, pretty cool looking. Obviously primarily intended to be a two-handed weapon. As far as attributes required to use this one, strength of 20, 16 for intelligence, and 16 for dexterity. No passive effects on this one, but it does have attribute scaling of B for both strength and intelligence, so not bad there, and also E for dexterity. You can see we've got pretty powerful physical and magic attack power. This one cannot be upgraded using Ashes of War, but it does have the Onyx Lord's repulsion special attack, which is pretty fun. So you can see that we stomp it into the ground and then do a big old gravity pull attack, or push attack I should say, that does pretty decent damage and is going to scale with your intelligence for how powerful that is. So it can be pretty useful and I like it, and like I said, it scales rather well with intelligence, so it makes it good for a lot of mage type builds, especially if you're also putting some strength into it. As far as where to get this one goes, it's going to be up here in the Altus Plateau region, so you can see that we're over here by the Lindell capital and we're here at the sealed tunnel. And to get here, if you start from the outer wall phantom tree and just kind of go this way, you'll be able to climb down and around and into this section here, and then it's right down at the end. Once you've made your way into the sealed tunnel, you have to make your way to the end of it and defeat the Onyx Lord boss. Once you do that, the boss will drop this weapon, and that's how you get it. So I'm just going to zip through the cavern here and show you the path to do that. And so right through here you will find your boss fight. And then once you've defeated the Onyx Lord, you will get the Onyx Lord's Greatsword. So that's how you get it and where you get it. Kind of an annoying dungeon, but not that difficult of a boss fight. So that is number 7, the Onyx Lord's Greatsword. Let's move on to number 6. Alright, and so for number 6, we have the Dark Moon Greatsword. I know this one's going to be a lot of people's favorite weapon overall in the game, just because of A, how cool it is and how iconic it is, and B, because it does have pretty great stats. But it's definitely a excellent intelligence weapon. So as far as attributes required to use this one, strength of 16, dexterity of 11, and intelligence of 38, so slightly high intelligence requirement there. We do have a passive effect, and that's that it causes a frost buildup of 55 points. For attribute scaling, we have strength for D, intelligence of B, and dexterity of D. And then you can see we're going to have most of our attack power coming from physical and magic. So pretty great there. It cannot be upgraded using Ashes of War, but it does have the Moonlight Greatsword special ability. And the description for that says, raise the sword aloft, bathing it in the light of the dark moon, temporarily increases magic attack power and imbues blade with frost. Charged attacks release blasts of moonlight. So pretty useful there. I'll just show you it here. So we just raise her up like that, and then we now have our blade imbued with that magical ice power. And so when we use strength attacks with it, we can send forth these big old sideways waves, and if we use light attacks, we don't send out a wave, but we do deal that extra magical frost damage. So it can be pretty dang useful. I know a lot of people really like this one, and since it can be fired in rapid succession and doesn't cost FP, I'm a big fan of that special attack. Well, it doesn't cost FP to continue casting it, and it does stay charged for quite a long time. So pretty dang powerful special attack. As far as how to get this weapon, it is a lengthy process. So I'm not going to go through the entire thing, but you do have to do Ranni's quest line, and you start that over here in Liurnia at Ranni's Rise. You talk to Ranni the Witch up at the top, and it's going to take you through all of the underground regions. You'll start over here, you'll make your way through Siofra River, then of course you have to make your way through Deeproot Depths to ride the Abandoned Coffin over here to Ainsel River, and then you'll find a little doll of Ranni here, talk to it at the Site of Grace, and she'll have you go kill someone for her over here. And once you've done that, she'll give you a key. You take that key over here to the Ray of Lucaria Grand Library, open a chest, you'll get a ring from that chest, then you can go back down here, do a boss fight right here, and then you can take a lift starting here up to the Deep Ansel Well. Then you'll be able to make your way over to the Cathedral of Manus Celis, and down there in the cellar of this cathedral, you'll find what I can assume is the corpse of Ranni or something to do with Ranni. You put that ring that you got in the chest on her finger, and she will, after the end of a cutscene, you will have completed her questline, and then you will get this sword. So there are some pretty great guides online showing that whole process. It's a very long one, but this sword is definitely worth it because it's not only one of the best intelligence scaling weapons in the game, but one of the best weapons overall. And like I said, that special attack can be pretty dang powerful since once you've charged it, you can just keep firing it in rapid succession without any FP cost, and it deals pretty high damage. So that's number 6, the Dark Moon Greatsword. Let's move on to number 5. Alright, and so at number 5 we have the Fallingstar Beast Jaw, which is one of my favorite weapons overall in the game, and definitely a great one for the mage type playthrough. So as far as attributes required to use this one, strength of 34, intelligence of 20, and dexterity of 12. No passive effects on this one, and for attribute scaling we have C for strength, D for intelligence, and C for dexterity. So not the best intelligence scaling, but that being said, it does scale with intelligence, and the other abilities of this weapon make it pretty much insane. So this one is going to be a great strength and intelligence combo since it scales pretty well with both of them, and you do require a decent strength level of 34 just to use it. But so it goes really well with, like I said, that strength and intelligence type builds. No, you cannot upgrade it using Ashes of War, but the Gravity Bolt special attack is one of the most powerful special attacks in the game. And so to use that one, you charge it up like this, and you can fire that in rapid succession. So when you're attacking any enemy type, for most of your basic mobs, 1 or 2 hits will kill them, but for bosses and stuff, you can just keep piss pounding them with the special attack. And you can see, yes, it drains FP, but not very quickly. And given the damage output being like in the 1 to 2,000 range, depending on how well you've upgraded the weapon and how high your intelligence and strength levels are, it's pretty great for taking out bosses. So definitely a super overpowered weapon in my opinion, and one of the best ones for an intelligence build. As far as how to get this weapon, it is a reward for a boss fight, and it's a pretty difficult boss fight, especially once you get up there in the new game pluses, because the beast just keeps getting harder to fight. But you're going to have to be up here in the Mount Gelmir sub-region of the Altus Plateau section, I guess, and it's up here in this crater you can see on the map they've artistically drawn. So the closest site of grace is the 9th Mount Gelmir campsite. So once you've made your way up here, you can either climb a really long ladder or take the fast way up, which is, what I prefer to do. And then you will find this enemy in this crater, and it is a adult Fallingstar beast. And like I said, pretty not complicated, but pretty hard boss fight, because this enemy is a damage sponge and is very fast and maneuverable and can 1-hit and 2-hit most people until you're a ridiculously high level. So it can be pretty hard to do, but once you do, this weapon is ridiculously powerful, so I think it's well worth it. So that's number 5, the Fallingstar Beast Jaw. Let's move on to number 4. Alright, and so at number 4 we have Death's Poker, a weapon that I think a lot of people sleep on given how dang powerful it can actually be. So this is a pretty great weapon. As far as attributes required to use this one, strength of 15, dexterity of 17, and intelligence of 11. It does have a passive effect, and that is that it causes a frost buildup of 65 points, which is pretty cool. For attribute scaling, we have strength of C, intelligence of D, and dexterity of B. This one cannot be upgraded using Ashes of War, but it does have the Ghost Flame Ignition special attack, which is pretty freaking powerful. And so the description on that attack is thrust out the barbed rod and set its tip alight with Ghost Flame. Follow up with a normal attack to set the ground ablaze with Ghost Flame, or a strong attack to trigger a massive explosion. So you can see we're just going to do that. You set her aflame, follow up with a regular attack. It does like a forward slashing blast attack of Ghost Flame, or if you follow up with a heavy attack, you do a big old explosion, so it can be a pretty freaking powerful special attack. I really like it, and the Death's Poker is just, as far as overall damage goes, it's a pretty great weapon, and it looks kind of cool, because it's just a big old hook. Dual wielding them is also particularly fun. So as far as where to get this weapon goes, it's going to be a pretty early game one that you could get if you want to, so you head over to Caelid, and once you've made your way down to the southern Aeonia Swamp Bank, you're just going to head over here. Of course, it has to be at night, because this weapon is dropped by a Deathrite bird, and they only spawn at night. I've already killed it in this playthrough, but once you're over here, like I said, at night, so just wait until nightfall, you make your way over into this little section right next to the site of grace, and there will be a Deathrite bird walking around. You kill that bird, the bird will drop the Death's Poker, and that's how you get it. So not very hard to get. The Deathrite bird can be a tough fight if you're really low level and not prepared for it, but honestly, not that bad. So that is how you get the Death's Poker. That's number 4. Let's move on to number 3. Alright, and for number 3 on our list of best intelligence scaling weapons, we have the Meteoric Ore Blade, so one of the katanas in the game, and one of my, maybe not one of my favorite weapons, but it's up there. I definitely like this weapon. So as far as attributes required to use this one, strength of 15, dexterity of 14, and intelligence of 18, so nothing ridiculously high there. We do have a passive effect, and that is that it causes a blood loss buildup of 50, so that's pretty great. For attribute scaling, we have C for intelligence, C for strength, and D for dexterity, so pretty good scaling there. This one cannot be upgraded using Ashes of War, but it does does have the Gravitas special attack. I know a lot of people don't like, but I find it useful, especially against mob-type enemies. It's not as useful against larger boss-type enemies, but it can be useful in certain circumstances. Now, for the Meteoric Ore Blade, this one is good for any type of intelligence build, just because it does scale rather well with intelligence and has pretty great physical plus magical damage. So it's great all around, but it also is especially great if you're going for a Meteoric Mage build, which can be pretty powerful because one of the most powerful spells in the game is a gravity-based Meteoric attack. And so if you go with that and this blade, it just pairs rather well together. It builds off itself. If you'd like to see a specialized build for that, I could make that, so let me know down in the comment section. But yeah, so like I said, it is overall useful for any intelligence type build, but especially any gravity type one, if you're specializing. As far as where to get this weapon goes, if you come over here into Caelid, so again, we're going to be over in this region, which you can do pretty much right away at the beginning of the game, and make your way over to the Caelid Waypoint Runes, which is pretty close to the Astray from Caelid Highway North side of Grace. Once you've made your way here, there's going to be a bunch of these enemies, which I hate, and I've gone through and killed before the video because they annoy the crap out of me. But you go down into this underground section. Again, there's going to be a lot of that enemy type down here. And once you've made your way to the back of this little cavern, you open up this door, and you just look inside this chest. And that's how you get the Meteoric Ore Blade. So pretty dang easy to get early in the game, and like I said, a really great weapon to pair with an intelligence-based mage build. So that is number 3. Let's move on to number 2 at our runner-up. And as much as I like the Meteoric Ore Blade, even I have to admit it is not the best katana in the game, and it's also not the best one for intelligence scaling. So if you want the best katana for intelligence scaling, and in some people's opinion the best one in the game, it's going to be the Moonveil. So that comes in at number 2 on our intelligence scaling weapons list. So as far as attributes required to use this one, strength of 12, a dexterity of 18, and intelligence of 23, so a little bit higher intelligence requirement. This one also has a passive effect that it causes a blood loss buildup, so pretty great there. For scaling, we're going to scale B for intelligence, E for strength, and B for dexterity, so pretty good scaling there on your intelligence and dexterity type builds. Pretty great attack power overall, making it just a pretty good weapon in general. This one also cannot be upgraded using Ashes of War, but it does have the transient Moonlight special attack, which is a lot of people's favorite and probably one of the most overpowered special attacks weapons have in the game. So for that, when you go into your stance, it just sheathes it, and then you can either do quick light attacks, which will blast forward that Moonlight type attack, which obviously will hit anyone directly in front of you, but also has a little bit more reach because it shoots out in front. Or you can do the heavy version, which is going to be similar, but it's going to obviously deal a little bit more damage, attack a little bit slower, and it's going to be a vertical slash instead of horizontal. Obviously, a pretty great special attack, and like I said, one of the best intelligence scaling weapons and just weapons in general in the game. So as far as where to get this one goes, again, it's going to be Caelid. So you make your way to the Gale Tunnel, which is actually really close to the way that I always enter Caelid, which is up here along this road. You just kind of come down and around, and you'll find the Gale Tunnel. Once you get in here, you just make your way to the end of it, and you'll have to kill the Magma Worm boss in this tunnel. So I'll just zip through the tunnel and show you that location. And so once you've made your way here, you're basically at the end of the tunnel. You're going to want to open up that doorway because it opens up the Lingrave section of this tunnel. And if you go through this door, you will find the Magma Worm boss fight. Once you've defeated the Magma Worm, he will drop the Moonveil. And so that is how you get this sword. So that's number 2. Let's move on to the number 1 best intelligence scaling weapon in the game. And so at number 1, of course, we have the Sword of Night and Flame. And you should be pretty used to seeing this on most weapon lists just because it's such a ridiculously overpowered weapon. And now I guess I should clarify because I don't know if I did at the beginning of the video. This list isn't which weapons scale the best with intelligence, like out of all of these, this one has the best intelligence scaling. If you're going for an intelligence type build and therefore you want a weapon that scales with intelligence, these weapons are the best ones for that, if that makes any sense to you. So as far as attributes required to use this one, strength of 12, dexterity of 12, faith of 24, so this one does have a faith requirement, and intelligence of 24. For attribute scaling, we have D for strength, B for intelligence, B for faith, and D for dexterity, so not bad there. This one does have a lot of attack power, physical magic, and fire. This one cannot be upgraded using Ashes of War, but it does have the Night and Flame stance, which is a very, very powerful special attack. So if you go into that stance, you do the light attack, and it's going to be the Azur's Comet type attack. So pretty dang powerful there. And the heavy attack is going to be a Sweeping Flame attack, which does pretty great damage in a large arc. So very, very powerful, excellent for any mage type build, and scales pretty well with intelligence. So as far as where to get this one goes, it's going to be over here in Liurnia. You make your way up the left side of Liurnia, up along this highway until you get to Caria Manor. Then you fight your way up through until you get to the Manor lower level. Then from that side of Grace, you just follow the path I'm going to show you here, and it's pretty easy to get. Once you're down into the bottom of this little tower here, it'll be in this chest, and then you can open this locked door and you're back outside. So that is, like I said, the number 1 spot. Obviously, all of these weapons are going to be extremely powerful based on the specific build you're using. I didn't rank them based on which one had like the highest attack power or whatever. I actually ranked these 7 based on which ones I like to use the most, and so that would be why the Sword of Night and Flame, Moonveil, and Meteoric Oreblade are going to be down at the top 3 on this list, whereas like the Fallingstar, Beastjaw, just overall that, and the Dark Moon Greatsword can have ridiculously powerful DPS, especially if you're focusing the build around them. I like smaller weapons better than big weapons, just because I'd rather swing fast for slightly less damage than really, really slow for slightly more damage. They're not ranked based on overall damage or anything like that. Like I said, these are the 7 best intelligence scaling weapons in no particular order. That's all for today. If you have any requests, comments, questions, concerns, maybe you disagree with something I said in the video, leave that all down in the comment section below. But with all that in mind, thanks a ton for watching and have a nice day, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching another Dare to Game video. If you like this video, please leave a like and a comment. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like my content and would like to support this channel, consider becoming a member today for as little as $1.99 a month. It makes a huge difference. But in any case, thanks for watching and have a nice day. I'll see you next time.